Well, last week at Donington Park was a very interesting race with the start being wet but not raining one bit, track drying up, and some people taking some different strategies, as we saw from Les Stevenson, Callum Kerrigan and Kevin Boss, and the two Lexus and a Nissan GTR opting for the dry tyres at the start and working out for them, only having to do one stop, and Les Stevenson taking a 4th overall and 1st in the silver class, whereas Raphael Huell takes over first with a 15-second gap over Lewis Zelch in the pro category. Very interesting conditions indeed, whereas today is a little bit drier and it's a bit cooler, but early in the morning as well here at Night Owl for season 17 round 3 is going to be very interesting indeed. Hello and welcome back. My name is Ted Edwards on the comms, and with me on the comms and cameras again for the second week in a row is our lovely Jesse Lee. And this is twice you've been talking today, Jesse. You, how's your voice? Is it still going strong?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm multi-talented, unlike, my wife would disagree, but take that, wife. Yeah, it's going to be a fun race here today. Morning sunshine, the track bathed in it. No real threat of inclement weather, nothing to complain about track temperature-wise either. 14 degrees C for this early morning qualifying session just gone past after 7 a.m. And right on board Grim Lilith, who's making their first genuine run in the tow down the Mistral straight up into Sing Corner. And this is a really interesting lap. It's interestingly positioned from Grim Lilith to get that tow. Ted, you've raced here. We've all raced here. It's a love it, hate it kind of racetrack. It'll chew you up, spit you out. But you know what? The right day, the right time, and in a good battle, this is a fantastic racing circuit.
Yeah, sure is. You know, you've got your first sector where it's quite technical with the first and second turns, and you know you've got to get them right. They're a bit difficult, especially with track limits and the curbs, and then when you get onto the back straight, it's all about the speed and how little wing you have on the setup. And then obviously you get to the right hander at the end, and that's when you need the wing back on the car. But you can't do that in a race. You can't just re-put it back on. So it's all about balancing that setup and how the car works. And you know, we see in front Les in the Lexus, and I've been testing the Lexus here due to we having World Tour hosted here. Jesse Lee for the 12 hour. It's going to be very interesting. It's giving it a little bit of a test, and the Lexus is pretty fast on the straight. They're clocking about 290, 291 kilometers an hour compared to, oh dear, Julian Bamber is getting in the back of that BMW. But yeah,
that was Olivier Kierton. I'm pretty sure that was, and I think Kierton was already going around. But Julian into the back of them nonetheless, not really anywhere to go. But Team Spain without the A already firing the first shot here in Qualio. 152.885, good enough for the time being. But don't want to rest on those laurels right yet, because there are a pack of very hungry race cars. Zelch right behind them, 3/10, and Flamker in tow as well. And a bit of a gap back to Frawler and Gigi. That's your top 5 currently. Looks like Dwarf Fox, of the 3 cars that have set a valid time in the silver class, is the fastest of those 3. But again, early days in the session.
Sure is. But yeah, Lexus is quick on the straight here. It's okay in the corners. We just have to see how it goes. Obviously, our World Tour is on the LFM BOP compared to our Weekday Champs, which is on the game BOP, the Kunos BOP as we like to call it. So it's going to be very different seeing what the Lexus can do against these cars here. Obviously, first, second and third at the minute is the McLaren 720S Evo. Flamgo only 7/1000ths of a second behind Vanbrugh there, so very, very close in. The Raphael Huell goes third in the Mercedes AMG number 21, just in front of Lewis Zelch. A few more silvers have gone across. Callum Kerrigan in the Lexus, 3/10 behind Bob Fox, and Brent Jones at 2/10 behind that. And Kevin Boss slotting in third in silver at this moment in time, 10th behind Karen Callaghan in the Nissan GTR.
Andrew Samo's looking to get a lap on. There were a lot of invalidations on their first opportunity. That's not uncommon around this joint. It was uncommon at the sheer volume, that was more than half the field that didn't set a valid lap, but everybody getting it right now. Sandra Simoes, one of those the Carbonator Racing car, goes all the way to the top in the silver class for the time being. Some alternative lines down here in turn one, as this track does hold the world record for the most track variants at the same track. Some 120 different track variants this place has to offer, and that's a petrol heads, playground. It essentially is having all those different variants. And the thing about Paul Ricard is they use a lot of them here. The most notable ones, of course, are the prototype layout, the touring car layout, the formula layout, the short formula layout, and the endurance layout, all of which incorporate different chicanes and different opportunities to turn to the right. I don't think they use the touring car one anymore, but they certainly used to. 52.647 resets quickest lap. Flamger in second place currently. That was a quick turnaround from Vanbrugh as they went out and they reset again, making sure that they get it taken care of. Timothy Flamger just about doing the same thing. Raphael Huell comes across the line and sets their quickest lap of the day, a 52.792, as we continue to get more cars in the high 52s here.
Sure do, and it is pretty cold, which you think would help with the tyres, but actually 14 ambient and 14 on track is actually pretty cold, Jesse. They're not going to have fully green tyres, so they're not as going to be as warm. They're going to have a few cold spots on the tyres, and it's going to be very difficult for them just trying to keep them warm, because you've got the back straight. You warm them up in sector 1, but then you've got the back straight, which is going to make them cold for sector 3, but you just have to manage with what you got here at Paul Ricard this weekend. But a few people going faster, a few people deciding that 6 minutes left, they're going to reset, get your fresh tyres and lower the fuel a bit more and see what they can do. But it's going to be interesting to see what the strategies are for the race, because if you don't know, Paul Ricard's pit entry and exit is a bit of a tricky one. The entry is just here on the right hand side, and it's just straight in, and the pit limiter boards is right in front of you, so it's very easy to get a penalty speeding in the pit lane. And the pit exit comes straight out onto the track before T1. That's why you see many of the cars going off and trying to avoid people on their outlaps and stuff, so they don't get in the way, and they just take the alternative route instead of just trying to go through T1 and T2 and getting in the way. So very nice from people coming out the pit lane. So just some good sportsmanship between drivers here in Nidau.
Really love to see it, swapping the lead in silver back and forth. Gore Fox goes back to the front. Raphael Huell does improve, not enough to take pole, but still an improvement nonetheless, a 52.730. That brings them to within a tenth of Julian Vanbrugh up in front near the end of this session. As a moment ago, there were 8 cars, now count 7 cars, who have yet to set a valid lap here. For the vast majority of those cars, it's not for want of trying, it's just that they have invalidated every lap that they've come around thus far. Again, still 7 cars that maybe, if they don't shake a leg here, they might fall afoul of that and start in the back. Again, there's always some mystique to that of, is it on purpose, is it purposeful or not? I'd reckon a couple of them are doing it on purpose, but likely a couple still are having issues getting the lap in. Louis Elch improves that time through, and nope, Tell Light didn't improve, ended up losing it coming to the line. Their quickest lap would have been a 53.1. They ran a 53.8 according to the live timing here. That time through, they'll get at least 2 more laps out of this, as long as they elect to stay on the racetrack. Pit lane almost deserted. 4 cars sitting in the pit lane, and 2 of those cars mentioned earlier that haven't set valid laps, that are doing it on purpose. Raul Ramos and Olivier Kierton are the 2 cars that I am insinuating are starting in the back very much on purpose. They're trying, Ted, to stay out of the wars here early in this race, and we've seen that work before. Mike Redford has made that work at this very racetrack before.
Sure has. Now, just looking at the data we have for their lap time, and even though it's sat in pit lane, it still counts in ACC. And Ramos is on 12 minutes 22. Oliver Curtin's on 58 minutes. So he's been sitting there since the server opened, since they were doing their practice. So I don't know what he's been doing, unless he's just had to go and do something and he's got very busy. But I hope he's here for the race. I hope both of them are here for the race. But yeah, we've seen it before. But just look at this split, Jesse, with the pro and silver categories. It just looks like I've done this perfectly again.
Yeah, this is interesting. Of course, the split is manual. There was no pre-qualifying, so this is all done manually by event manager Ted Edwards, event manager, broadcaster, commentator. Gosh, you're multi-talented as well, as it turns out.
Yeah, I'm like a Swiss Army knife, Jesse.
My Swiss Army Ted, absolutely love it. Sandro Simos goes top of the heap in silver, a 54.287, good enough to put them to the point in their class. They've got Miguel Martins in between them and Callum Kerrigan. And now Les Stevenson has matriculated up into third in that class. Both of the Vulcan cars running really well here.
Show me what that Lexus can do, Les. It's I'm not one-sided. We don't choose favourites as much here, but I am going to be driving that Lexus soon. I do want to know what it can do around this track. But it's nice to see that it is still pretty competitive in the silver class. Me and Tom Bryant decided that, you know, let's choose a Lexus for World Tour as a bit of a meme car, and it's looking quite strong, Jesse, which is not something you would have said like 5 months, 6 months ago. You would have not seen anyone drive the Lexus, and it would all have been the Ferraris and the McLarens.
Still the standard BOP here in Night Owl. No shenanigans going on. This is just the strength of the natural BOP coming out, and the Lexus somehow, some way, falling back into favor with some and making it look easy. It would have been just about a week ago in one of the races that we did. It was a couple of Lexuses, Lexis, and a GTR was your podium. Who would have ever called that? I definitely wouldn't have done, but it was a lovely sight to see all of that on natural BOP, of course. Emiliano Gigi continuing to contest. Almost got back in the top 5. That'll be it for the Gomez Sim Racing 333, as they will go to 6th place, and they will stay there at least for now. Several cars on valid laps, even more are invalidating. Callum Kerrigan just invalidated their final attempt, so they'll bring that car down to the pit lane, and looks like Carlos Miranda has just invalidated as well. Everybody trying their best. Speaking of invalidations, Julian Vanbrugh invalidated their previous lap. It wasn't good enough to best their top qualifying time anyway, but the reason I bring that up is the lap that they're on right now sure is, as they're up another 10th, and considering how close things are at the front of this field, that's huge.
Sure is. The top 3 are all on valid laps, all going faster. But yeah, track limits here, Jesse, is a pain in the butt. It will get you out of nowhere. You could be taking the same line as before. Just go that tad bit more wider, and that's it. That's your run over. Here comes Vanbrugh to the line. What can he pull out of the bag? He goes slower, 52.7, as fast as with 52.6. We've got now Raphael Huell. It was like Timothy Flanagan come across the line, going faster with 52.767, but still stays in 3rd place. Very close between Flanagan and Huell, but I have to see what Huell can do. He is just in front of Grim Lilith for the last car to do qualifying. Grim goes back to the pit lane. Gore Fox in the silver class for 972 Aston Martin. Let's see what they can do coming across the line. They are quite up on their lap time. 16th place up to 15th, yeah. 3rd in silver. Very nice indeed. Knocking that Lexus down. Oh, that's a shame. I mean, what?
Gained a quarter of a second, and did gain them just a little bit of ground. All the cars coming to the line and finishing off their qualifying session here. And there's a car I'm
Oh.
not seeing. Oh, big spin there for Les Stevenson, who will do no better than fourth in the quali session. It's not where you start, it's where you finish. And I'm not sure what the timer is waiting for. Is it waiting for this car? I believe indeed it is, as this is Raul Ramos for the Revved Up Motorsports number 14 BMW. And as far as I can tell, this car is not on a valid lap.
No,
the
but
session's waiting for them.
they've just come out of pit lane, so maybe I've never seen this before. Normally, if you invalidate a lap, it will just go straight over to the next session and give the, I think, 5-minute wait timer before they go to the grid, before they be put on the grid ready for formation. But because they've come out of pit lane, maybe it's just confused ACC a little bit, because you know it can get confused sometimes. That's it. But as soon as they come across this timeline or come in to practice a pit entry, it should just tick over, and that won't need to wait 2 minutes. We'll see. They're going to go across the start finish. There we go.
Very interesting, interesting times here. That's very unusual for it to happen. I can't say it's unprecedented, of course, but it certainly happened here. Here are the results of qualifying. Vanbrugh on pole position here today, the quickest of all in sectors 1 and 3, and it was their mega lap time of 52.647 that pulled them out in front of the overall field. Raphael Huell will share the front row with them, just about 8/100ths off the ultimate pace, and a tenth or so right behind them. Flamger and Rodriguez on the second row. Zelch and Gigi, Frawler, Redford, Kaneko, and Grim Lilith, your top 10 in overall. And here are your silver qualifying drivers, and it's Simoes on pole position in front of Kerrigan and Fox. Les Stevenson actually had the quickest of all middle sector, as amusing as that is. So that's where the quickest middle sector went. Bryn Jones, Boss, Miranda, Brooke, Gomez, and Bibby, your top 10. You got the other Jones, Mike Jones, Rudolph, Lawson, Bubbins, and Ramos, the rest of your starters. And here is your entire field, some 28 cars strong.
Yeah, quite a few cars. Les Stevenson taking that middle sector though. See how fast that Lexus is?
I mean, you said it, boss. You said it.
Oh, mate, that made me feel a little bit happy inside. But yeah, it's going to be very interesting today. I don't think there's going to be any change in the weather. Pit stop is very interesting. We'll get to that after the formation, after the first few laps have got underway. But yeah, I think it's going to be an okay race today. People just need to keep clean and just focus on their race, and just be careful of the other people around them, because it's going to be cold. It's going to be cold tyres, and it's going to be slippy. But before then, we've got some standings to look at, Jesse.
Yeah, we certainly do. After 2 rounds and the drop round included, Timothy Flamger and Raphael Huell are tied 40 points apiece. That tie will certainly be broken here today. Louis Zelch has 37 championship points in third place. Jordan Daly, who's not on the racetrack tonight, with 34. Matthew Malcolm, who's going by Matt Malcolm on this list, and that threw me for an absolute loop, tied with Olivier Kierton for 5th place, 30 points apiece. Julian Vanber, your pole sitter, came in with 28 points. Will have more than that now by virtue of being on the pole in 7th. Grim Lilith in 8th place, the fastest gamepad driver in the world, in my opinion. 26 points for them. Emiliano Gigi on 23, and Mariano Rodriguez rounds out your top 10 with 20. Take it away, Ted Edwards.
Yeah, for the next 10 of cars, we've got Masatoshi Kaneko with 20 points in 11th place. Emmo plating the M4 in 12th with 18 points. Mike Redford with 14 in 13th. Raphael Huell and Tom Roberts, 14th, 15th, tied with 10 points each. And Miguel Martins has 0 points in 16th place. And everyone else with the dash next to the name have signed out of the championship. On to the Silver Championship, and we've got Sandro Simoes in the AMG with 45 points on first, shall I say.
Les Stevenson in second with 40 points, followed by Callum Kerrigan in third in the Lexus with 37 points as well. Kevin Boss and Chris Brook, a Nissan GTR and a Ferrari 296, fourth and fifth with 30 points apiece. Guar Fox in the Aston in sixth place with 23. Bren Jones with 20 in seventh. Ashley Bibby and Mike Jones, 8th and ninth, tied on 18 points as well. And John Schultz in 10th with 16 points. Paulo Martino in 11th with 14 in the McLaren. Scott Lawson with 12 with 12 points in 12th. That was a bit of a mouthful. Jordan Bubbins in the Porsche 13th with 6 points. Carlos Miranda with 5 points in 14th. Rudolph Gomez, Hewlett and Ramos 15, 16, 17 and 18 with 0 points. And the rest of them with the dash have signed out of the champion. Quite a few zeros there, Jesse, but I think a few of them have signed up for mid-season start for this race and onwards. So that's why we've got a few zeros in the silver class. It's not because they have quit the other races. It's just that, you know, they've joined us from this round onwards. Paul Ricard, a bit of an odd one to join us with, but I am not complaining. It's very nice to see the amount of cars we have here for Night Owl. Only a few seasons ago, we did think that we were gonna get rid of Night Owl, unfortunately, because we had a low turnout, but stuck with it, and look at it now. It's booming again as it used to be in the old days, and it's so nice to see people driving. It's weird. This Night Owl was made by Mike Jones way back in the early days of RCI, and before that, and it was handed off to me, and just looked after it ever since. And it's crazy to think season 17. It's over 3.5 years it's been going, and we've still got a load of drivers, almost a good full grid of drivers driving silver and pro category, and all different cars, all different liveries, as we see here, going down the doing a little bit of a grid walk. There's Mike Redford on the left, and on the left that's Masatoshi Kaneko, and on the left here in the Crocs is Graham Lilith and Matthew Malcolm there, the 199. Yeah, it's very nice to see these lovely custom liveries, and yeah, it's just crazy to think that we're going to get rid of this champ, but it, you know, hold off and it works out well. And it's crazy to think this was for the American side of the world, the Asian American side, the time zone, and we got a lot of European drivers driving this, Jesse. It's crazy to think people don't sleep.
Well, that was the whole dream of Mike Jones. It came to me with that dream back in the day. We're coming up on 4 years ago. Just wanted to have a more advantageous spot, give the American drivers, and that's North and South America, by the way, a better time slot, a better chance, if you will. And what we couldn't have ever dreamed of is the response of Night Owls from Europe actually living up to the name. This series may come to no surprise to you now, but at one point was dominated, absolutely dominated by Europeans. Of course, in recent memory, both of the Americas have played spoiler, and that to me, as you may not know this, I'm an American, that kind of has validated the point of the championship from the Mike Jones original standpoint. Not that that matters, of course. Everybody's free to race. That's the kind of the point of RCI, after all. But to have some actual North and South Americans win these races, win these championships, it kind of validates the original premise. But we have expanded so far beyond what the original premise of this championship is. And it's lovely. It's lovely that we have so many drivers from all around the world, and we have a Japanese driver, of course. Masatoshi's in the field. In seasons gone by, we had South African drivers and, of course, Australian, New Zealand drivers as well in the series. Night Owl's a weird one because it is at such a strange time slot, Ted. You get a little bit of everything.
Yeah, you sure do. And it's so nice to see. I was just looking at the night owl stats that was provided to me by Harry Conway, and I was just trying to see from like what countries people have won. And I think Harry has put it on his. But yeah, it's nice to see different country people representing countries driving here, like Masatoshi Kaneko, Japanese driver, and he can speak a bit of English, and he can type a bit of English, and he still drives with us. And it's just nice to see someone from that part of the world driving with us at this time of night. And it's I can actually find out the time of day is there because I have it on my phone, funny enough, for Tokyo, and it is 8:15 in the morning tomorrow is what it is. So that's very early in the morning to do some racing on a Sunday for the Japanese driver. But it's just so nice to see Americans joining us. Timothy Flamga is obviously what we were aiming for, but yeah, it's just a different crowd at this time of night.
I love that because of the wonky time, and let's be honest, if you are anywhere but the Americas, it is a bit of a wonky time. And it's very humbling to have the European presence, knowing that it's at nowhere o'clock for the vast majority of continental Europe, and even worse for some of the drivers in Asia, where it's absurdly early in the AM on a Sunday morning. And to have all of these drivers with us, we love to have all of you. And you've all shown at different points that you're capable of, no matter what the hour, of taking these races and winning these series. But just checking in from the chat, we've been joined by, Night Owl Royalty. We've got Hemi Husky in the chat. They've joined us. Hope you're well, Hemi. And nice to see you as well. Matthew Malcolm's timed in. Mike Jones chiming in with their qualifying commiserations. Sebastian Bernier says that sleep is overrated. And that kind of illustrates the point quite nicely, doesn't it? The French driver there saying that they don't particularly care what time it is. It's always race o'clock. Kevin Boss found his quali pace and got a lap time in there. Esteban cheering on his friends and teammates as well. Ted, I'm going to throw it down to you for the start. What do you expect to see here? Hopefully a clean start. Can anybody take Julian Vanbrugh?
See, Raphael Huell has had the pace in qualifying, very close to that McLaren in that Mercedes out of nowhere. So fast in that car, I would not expect it from someone who's driven the Porsche for a very long time. But hopefully it's a clean start. We just have to wait and see. Look at all them McLarens in the back there, Mike Redford, and that in the Ferraris. But here we come around the last corner. Not too long to go. There is the pit entry. There's the pit board on the left. You see they're very close to do a pit entry. You have to be very careful, but we come down. Last car's coming around the last corner, going underneath the gantry, and it's green flag, and off we go. Who gets the best start here? Vanbrugh gets a good pull. So does Raphael Huell. They almost make contact on the rear end. 2x2, 3 in the background there with a Mercedes and 2 Ferraris. Down into T1, it's the left-hander for these cars, right for us. Oh, in the background, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more keep spinning around. Lexus getting caught up, that is Les Stevenson, Mike Redford, and a few other Ferraris. Oh, it's almost taken out. I think that's Ashley Bibby. That was very, very close indeed. Matthew Malcolm looks like he made it through okay. There's Stevenson making his way through.
I didn't quite catch the number of that car.
Yeah.
Off in stage left, you wonder if that was help to get that far off of the racing circuit. They're bottled up 3 wide right behind this group. Kevin Boss, the cork in the bottle. Mike Redford trying to get around that number 31 GTR as everybody finds their legs and finds a little bit of space. That was an inauspicious start for sure, but everybody has gotten away from the accident scene at least.
Yeah, you see that Lewis Selch in 13th, Mike Redford in 17th, Oliver Kern in 21st, and Raphael Roman Frauler, is down in the back in 26th. Masatoshi Kaneko in 28th. So there's a few cars being caught up in the pro category, gone backwards. Not sure about the silvers as so much. Callum Garrigan leading over Brendan Jones at this moment in time.
in that Lexus. Brent Jones going for the inside.
Absolutely horrible start for silver pole sitter Sandro Simoes, as they were involved in that incident in one way or another. They started on pole. They're not even inside the top 10 in that class right now. It's Callum Kerrigan who leads it for the Vulcan Racing Lexus team. Very, very tentative over Bryn Jones, who's the car right behind him, and nearly had contact right there. In fact, and there is contact.
He did.
Bryn Jones has contact with
Lewis Zelch.
Was that Lewis Zelch trying to make their way through?
Yeah, the 44. Yeah, the red 44 McLaren. Not sure. I think Bryn just got deep and then tried to get his foot down while turning right, and it just went right. And he's trying to go for a dive on a pro driver.
And it's contact again.
Oh yeah, he almost not took him out, and then he full on took him out. So I don't think Lewis Zelch is going to be very happy after this racing. He is already gone.
Another
Jesse.
crash right in front of them as well. 3 into 1 doesn't go. The driver in the middle gets spat out like the hot dog in the bun, and somehow that wasn't worse than it actually was, but positions lost there for that particular BMW. It's been a scrappy start, perhaps the scrappiest we've seen here in Night Owl in some time.
Sure is. Night Owl used to be like this quite a lot, but we used to have live stewarding when this happened. Unfortunately, we don't this time round, so you have to be post-race reported. Roman Frallo is in the pit lane. That is the number 6. I'm not sure if they pitted or they have returned. Lewis Zelch, there you go, he's out again. So I think he's drove into the pit lane.
Yeah, that car was severely damaged, Ted.
Yeah,
it was hit on all 4 corners, as you would say, and it's now pristine, which means that the EM Racing number 6 Ferrari has been repaired, rejoining the fray.
Sure is, but you want to ask me the question, Jesse?
I do indeed. Ladies and gentlemen and others, if you've never been with us, we do a little thing here at Night Owl. Night Owl is the one night a week where RCI gets a bit crazy. Different pit requirements every single week. The drivers are alerted of what they are, I believe, day of the race, I believe I'm correct in saying. So they can't really practice for it. They just have to adapt to it. Ted Edwards, as the event manager, what is the random pit requirements for tonight?
There isn't any. And that's going to hurt a lot of people tonight, because they're might have to repair if they're really damaged, like the number 6 was. Unfortunately, he is so far back. He's on the main straight, halfway through it now. He's got a way to go, but still 55 minutes to go. But yeah, there's no pit requirements. You can still pit for fuel if you want to. But yeah, the drivers don't know until 10 o'clock GMT, which is when the server goes live. They'll check on the website, they'll go into the calendar of the championship, and underneath it tells you practice, quali and race times of sim time. Underneath that it tells you the pit requirements, and it will say no mandatory pit requirements. So there is nothing. There's no pit window, there is no tyres, there is no fuel they need to take for this race. So it's all about what they want to do, which normally just means full fuel and go for it.
Well, you know who's going for it? Raphael Huell looking to the outside up the top of the Mistral straight. Isn't sold on it, is Vanber, realizing that the car on the outside, that Mercedes, does not have enough room to make that work. Unfazed, covers off the line, and they continue line astern. We join you from the rear wing of Julian Vanber's team, Spain without the A car. The 87 qualified on pole and is leading. Was contested into turns 1 and 2. The stack up happened, of course, behind the lead group. But for the time being, it's these 2 cars. And dare I say, Timothy Flamger in the green McLaren in the background is closing in here a little bit early on into this race. And I see Rodriguez as well in the background closing in as well. We're about to have the top 3 all together here at the front. This is dangerous times if you're Vanbrugh, because you're not only defending against one car effectively now, you will be defending against 2 of them.
Sure. Well, and 54 minutes of the race, it already feels like we were 15 minutes in, Jesse, with what has happened this early on in the race. But just looking at some of the times, there's still some drivers close to each other. Les Stevenson is trying to hold off a Fox for second place in silver. Kerrigan is sort of getting away in the Lexus. Do we have a race replay? There's Fernando.
Man.
Oh, dear me.
Fernando Gomez Absolutely. I think I don't know if Gomez was the victim or the aggressor there, but that was against Raul Ramos in the number 14 BMW. And I think that's the answer. I think that's Raul Ramos giving the spot back, which would typically to us in the booth indicate that they're admitting fault and giving the position back. Not only does it look good on a penalty report, obviously a lot of times the RCI stewards, post-race in this case of course, they will take sort of a more lenient hand. They don't have to, but they often do if you give the position back, if you admit fault and rectify it on the racetrack. And also too, it's just good sportsmanship. You have a moment like that, nothing apologizes quicker than giving up the spot and resuming racing. Of course, some drivers, they still are upset because they lost the time, but never mind. Fault admitted, position changed there. Les Stevenson cork in the bottle territory here. Callum Kerrigan driving off into the, I would almost say sunset. It isn't, it's a sunrise, but their teammate, Vulcan Racing 46, a bit of a cork right now. Got Matthew Malcolm, who's a pro car, right behind them, but more importantly to Les, they've got Gore Fox and Kevin Boss immediately behind them.
I just realised Stevenson's overtaken Malcolm for position. Now he's going to charge after Kerrigan. It's Lexus, Aston, GTR. If Kevin can get past Fox, it'd be Lexus, GTR again for the second week in a row, Jesse.
I was just making sure I wasn't losing my mind that these were teammates. Two different cars, two different camo patterns. One's pink, one's I don't know what you would call that that particular camo pattern, but on Les Stevenson's car. But they are teammates here today. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Matthew Malcolm working the way back up through the field a little bit here, and they would very much like to get clear of the silver traffic, but still work to do. No blue flags in this situation, of course. They're on the same lap, and even if they were blue flagged, it wouldn't work the same way you would expect in an FIA race where it's a get out of the way please flag. It's more of a courtesy in GT racing anyway, but not the case here today anyway. No pit requirements, says event manager Ted Edwards. That means it's going to be a 60-minute out-and-out fight out there on the racetrack. They're absolutely going off and going for it. Sandro Somos, oh dear, they were outside the top 10 after lap 1, caught up in that turn 1 incident. Well, they've gotten most of those spots back already somehow. It's a miraculous recovery. Up into 5th again is Somos.
Sure is. Do we have a replay of that massive incident, Jesse? Because we saw it in the background, not so much who actually initiated it. I know Somos was 3 wide. He was on the outside going into T1 with, I think, 2 Ferraris. I'm not sure who it was though, so let's wait and see. There was a yellow flag just then, but oh, it's the number 60, I think, is in the background. Fernando Gomez, the second right-hander after the straight. There you go.
They've recovered the car, but let's take you back to the start of the race and see if we can make some sense out of the chaos of the start. We'll see if this is anything to do with the start of it. Roman Frawler here, and yeah, that will be the initial contact. Actually, simultaneous contact with the black and white Ferrari in the background. Now that was interesting. That was Frawler and I believe the 95 of Mike Redford that got together there. And while that was occurring, this contact here with Chris Brook in the background also occurred. And
now there's Lewis Selch spinning in the McLarens. That's what happened to him. Sorry, Jesse.
No, quite right. And we're going to continue showing some more of the turn 1 incidents from different perspectives. Scott Lawson here way back in the field. You think it'd be easy to miss the accidents, but you can't see what's happening in front of you. The drivers in front check up, and it all goes completely sideways. Hey, let's have a little fun with it here on a Night Owl Saturday night. Let's cue up this replay. We've already seen this, but let's watch it from the driver's eyes from Chris Brooks' cam.
God, look at that car. You just can't see anything. It's so blind, especially that GTR in front. It's a big car, but
Yeah, I was just looking at Simos in the 86. They actually stopped and didn't get hit by anyone or hit anyone. They just stopped on just the outside exit of T1 and then got going again. That's why they were so far back, and that's why they can claw it back again, because they got no damage, Jesse. The splitter's fine, the diffuser's fine, the wing's fine, car's fine. That's why they're catching these guys who had a bit of damage, like you see Redford on the front. It's all scuffed up. I don't know if Oliver Curtin has, who's the one in front of the Kraken car there, 111. But Simos just looks like he's making it easy work on that 296 with the Mercedes there. So you have to keep an eye on them, because they can change everything. Where's Kevin Boss has gone backwards, Jesse? We've missed something. It was 4th place, now 7th place.
Very possible that something additional has happened. In fact, I'm pretty sure I have that replay here in a moment. A couple of additional incidents going all the way back to the first lap of the race. This is the 115 Grim Lilith, who's inside the top 5 right now. Oh yeah, the car's popping back onto the racetrack. Going to be a little bit of a touch there. Oh, and it's a huge save. That's not Emiliano Gigi, but that was versus. That was Grim Lilith with the save. Not easy to do in the slightest. Lap 2 incident here between the 44 car.
That's Brent Jones and Lewis Zelch. Ah, this is what we saw in the background.
It was indeed.
Yeah, so that's what happened there. So it looks like it was Zelch's fault. Boss has passed Brooke now. It's into 6th in silver.
Brooke had gotten by, I think, at some point, and in this lap, it looks like Boss has been able to retake that position. 7:14, Mike Jones is going to get involved with Scott Lawson, I'm pretty sure. Actually, the opposite of that, in fact. Scott Lawson getting involved with Mike Jones. Now that is a massive misjudgment right there. That was
heavy.
That was heavy, absolutely the correct word for that. 44 in the 421 again. This is Zelch a second time. This is still the same lap at the end of the straight. We saw this live. Watch it again. Bryn Jones and Lewis Zelch contact there. Zelch is going to be.
Just missed that.
He sure did. Zelch is going to be wondering, what did he do to Bryn Jones to deserve that? 740 Masatoshi Kaneko versus the 14 of Raul Ramos. And that's the 3 wide dog. And how on earth, ping pong for sure, but how on earth did all those cars stay going the right direction? Very much beyond me. Talked about the 31 going backwards of Kevin Boss. This might have something to do with it. This versus Chris Brooks.
Kevin squeezing him just a little bit, probably a bit too much, but it's not too bad. Trying to get a good entry into T1.
Well, that wasn't how he went
that
backwards.
was it.
Yeah, that wasn't.
Time.
That was not it. My apologies. That's not Chris Brooks. That's Chris Brook. I'm sure that Chris has had enough people in his life giving him an unnecessary S on the end of his name. It's there's no explanation for it except that as an American, I pluralize everything. We don't have
it just
offside.
feels right.
Yeah, we don't have offside in football here. We have offsides. But it's just it's a weird pluralization. We're weird. What can you say?
Well, I just want to give a little bit of a shout out to one of our partners, Driver 61 Coaching. They can help you with one-on-one driving coaching to full-on driver courses. Folks over at Driver 61 help thousands of racers refine their racecraft and unlock untapped potential. And I think a few drivers here tonight might need a bit of that. Jesse Lee, especially with the T1 incidents, it gets very crammed down there, and you've got to be wary of everyone around you. And it's just one of those things, but you can find Driver 61 in the description below.
Fort Fox trying to make a move here on Matthew Malcolm and get it to stick, and I think they've just about got that done. So up into 10th place is Fox. They're still in 3rd place in class, but perhaps more importantly, getting by a car that was in between them and the rest of the podium. This is going to shape up here at some point. Kerrigan has a 4.5 second lead back to teammate Les Stevenson, but Fox seems to be quite a quick car here, and there's still a lot of time left in this race. Checking up on chat. What is chat saying? Mike Redford not pleased with the way that start went. Live tweeting from the race. Don't text and drive, ladies and gentlemen, and others. Spicy start, said Seb Brunier. It was indeed the full Vindaloo here tonight. The Dominicus report tonight is that they are having some bevs and enjoying the stream. Cheers, Newser. Thanks for joining us as always. Mike Redford additionally reporting that their car may be quite broken. In fact, it is. Look at it. That car is mangled. The Mike Racing 95 has been hit from every angle.
Sure hasn't. Who was that off? Is that I think Malcolm off there as well. 119. Oh, it's gone again, Jesse. It's span again. Oh,
let's see. We'll watch this from Mike Redford's cam. We'll see if there's another car.
It's gone wide at that 10 there. Coming round again.
We can spot.
There's Malcolm.
You're absolutely well spotted, Ted Edwards. That was a very backwards Matthew Malcolm, who is just not having any luck thus far today. That rear of that car severely damaged. The front, the very same. And there's no way that car is making downforce at this point.
Okay, Malcolm and Redford. It's not a point scoring thing to see who has the most damaged car. Okay, but yeah, they're both.
It kind of is. The way that the drivers talk post race is it's almost like a badge of honor of in some instances of, yeah, we got this much damage and still managed a decent finish here today. And it is. You get frustrated with contact, but you also get pumped up whenever you're able to overcome that. Miguel Martins, DCC Motorsport, trying to overcome a top 5, and they're going to take it from Grim Lilith. Lilith gives them the inside, doesn't contest it too hardly there. Looking for an avenue of rebuttal, but I don't see one. And right behind them, that is for position as well. That is Emiliano Gigi, who's making their way back up through the top 10.
Yeah, sure. It's three-way fight for 5th place. Something nice to see. Raphael Huell taking the fastest lap, and is only 4 tenths behind Vanbrugh. It's a fight for first there. Jesse Lee in the background in 22nd, fighting for 21st. With the silver places, Rudolph and Ramos. So some little fights going on. Some cars are close to each other. Obviously, no pit stop means it's not gonna really be easy to overtake someone. You know, you're not going to need to take tyres. You're not half fueling or full fuel. Well, not half fueling, or you're not got a fixed time to do. So it's one of those races where it's you, the car, and how you treat it is how it is. And if you got damage, you need to adapt and see what works for your car in the state it is. Obviously, it might be understeer, it might be oversteer. So it's a learning curve, but you know, early on in the race with the damage, it's not too bad. You've got most of the race to learn, and 65 has gone round, as I see at the top of that track. Matt, that is Jordan Bubbins. Having a good old spin in that Porsche.
Certainly is. Quite unfortunate, and Grim Lilith has not been able to shake Emiliano Gigi, but that's not the issue. The issue is that Miguel Martins hasn't been able to pull away from the Crocs liveried Ferrari. And all of a sudden now, back in the fight is Grim, poking out, looking to the inside. He's going to take it inside at the top of the circuit. He's got a fender on him. Rear axle to front axle now. He's very much alongside and repaid almost instantaneously. Remember, whenever Miguel Martins made that move, Grim did not fight them too hard into the corner, and good driving repays good driving. Miguel Martins does the exact same thing, pays it forward back to the man who gave it to him, and you love to see that. That's respectful driving. You got me. I'll see you again next lap. That's good racing. That's textbook. That's how it's supposed to be. That's how you're supposed to do on the racetrack. John Dalton and me had a conversation earlier. We did the iRacing 2-hour, 40-minute of Sebring. I went on a rant about one of the things that you get told in every driver's briefing you ever get in motorsport is take care of each other. The language is not always the same, but the message is take care of each other. What does that mean? Don't put each other in compromising positions. Have fun, good racing, but know when to back up, know when to back out, and know when to yield in certain cases, because it does exactly what that does. It has preserved an excellent battle between two fantastic racers, and somehow they've been able to keep Gigi at bay despite the fact that they're going at it blow for blow here. That is not the car I was looking for. I'm looking for this car, Matthew Malcolm, into the pit lane. Now, that's a stop that is unscheduled, of course. There is no pit requirements tonight. Nobody would come in unless they absolutely needed to, and he definitely feels like he needs to, does Matthew Malcolm. De Brunier paying the bills in chat, saying that overtake was surely boosted by speed juice. It might have been as well. Mike Redford live tweeting Ted Edwards, telling him to shush it. I don't think we get many of those here, strangely enough, where the drivers tell us to, be quiet. But there you have it. Redford a bit upset at the Ted Edwards take. And approaching the halfway point of the race, the storylines are all over the joint, to be completely honest with you. A jumbled up start has been exactly that. It was pretty clean up in front, admittedly. Julian Vanbrugh still leads Huell and Flamger. Vanbrugh has not been able to shake Huell this entire race, and without a pit stop, who knows what may finally settle that battle. They're still as close as they were on the initial start. Flamger is not too far behind, 2 seconds off that pace. We right on board a couple of cars in the middle part of the track, middle part of the order, all fighting over a top 10 here, as Olivier Carton has re-overtaken to get back inside the top 10 for the Kraken Engineering Ferrari.
Well, I don't know if you eagle-eyed viewers at home have just seen, Matthew Malcolm just got a drive-through. He has parked it in pit lane in the pit box.
Well,
he's not retired as of yet. He's just joined us in. Yeah, he's just joined us in chat saying, "Yep, knew this race wasn't going to be a good one. It took far too much damage at lap 1 and was at second gear at the pit, so that's why he's got a drive-through for the pit lane. I'm guessing that's where the drive-through came from. Unfortunately, minor speeding in pit lane, but it's just not got on your way, Malcolm. Unfortunately, you've had some very good races, but this will count as your drop round now. So don't be too hard, don't be too put off from the other races that are coming up in Night Owl. It's going to be interesting. We've got Alton Park on the way, Jesse, in 2 rounds time. It's you haven't seen that track for a while in any of our championships.
The last time we were at Alton Park, it was being dominated by the RCI chief steward, Phil Roberts, who I can't explain it, but that man has the giga speed at Alton Park. He can find it where others can't. Close into one here. Roman Frawler will take 24th place away from Scott Lawson. That camera angle probably made that look a bit closer and dramatic than it actually was. Scary nonetheless, I can assure you, from that angle, as fights all over, up and down the grid, all around the race. Seb Brunier pointing out that was the first track limits victim tonight, and that's the other part of Circuit Paul Ricard that we have to mention every single time we come here, and that's the track limits. It bites hard. We've seen upwards of 2 or 3 track limit warnings, or track limit to DTs for going over the limit here. Because of the nature of the racetrack, you have to push it to make speed, and when you push it past the track limits, it gets very, very risky. Just like that, Miguel Martin's just about able to break that car in time to keep from going into the back of Grim Lilith there.
Well, 34 minutes left of the race, Jesse. It's one of those ones where no pit requirement is. It's a little bit stale in the middle of the race. We just have to wait for the moves, wait for the slipstreams on the straights. But we've got a special guest in the booth with us, Jesse. It's Jordan Daly. He's not racing tonight because he's hurt his back and his leg, so he has to sit this one out. That's 2 races in a row, unfortunately. But how are you, Daly? How was your leg? How was your back? Is it recovering?
Hey, nice to listen to you again, guys. It's one of them. I decided tonight probably weren't the best for me to race, but I wanted to be here and support everybody racing. You know, if ever I'm not racing, I'll always sit here and watch. You know, I'll always have that support if I can't race myself. But yeah, it's been a bit tender these past few days, and I thought it were best to just sit back, let it relax. We just had in the last race, and you know, just take my time with it. I want to get back into racing, but I've had a bit of a bad couple of weeks where just having to take it a bit slower than I'd like. So yeah, I'm here for support, and that's all I can do, and I'm happy to do that.
Well, how are you feeling missing out on poor Ricard? Obviously, that now you know there is no pit
Tell
requirements.
the truth, please.
Honestly, one of my favourite tracks this, so I am gutted. I am absolutely gutted. I'm not gonna lie, I think I'd have been right up there at the top. Yeah. I enjoy this track a lot. Like, this was one of the first tracks that I came into on ACC, and I've always enjoyed Paul Ricard. I've never had an issue with it. I've always tried something different when I'm here as well. Like, the last race I had here with the 1.5 hour race, and out of everybody, I was the only one who decided to go for that right through for the full 1.5 hours, same size. You know, like, I like to try and change it up if I can. This track for me it's got a little place in my heart. I really do enjoy this track. I find that it's got a long straight, but there's some real good racing within the first and third sector, and yeah, I'm gutted. I'm gutted that I'm not here, but I'm loving watching it. So I guess there's some part to it that I can take out of this. Like, I'm enjoying the racing that's been going on so far.
I was gonna tell on Daly. Because I know his rap sheet here. He's actually quite good. He's quite good everywhere, but here as well, he just has an outstanding record. I was gonna tell on him, but he told on himself there. He knows he's good around here.
I love this track, yeah, Jesse. I've always been a real fan of it, but I tell you, it's been fun to watch this past half an hour's racing. There's been some real interesting battles going on. Everybody's still nice and close. They're all in the little packs. It's really good to watch. Good to see.
Yeah, and it's a shame because you're in the AMG as well. Like, Raphael Hill is right behind Bambra in the Pro Class, and there's Simos in the AMG as well.
It's a strong car for the track.
Yeah, right behind the Lexus, who's really quick in the straight, but obviously AMG is quick as well, and in no time I think they're going to get past Les Stevenson, and we're going to be after Kerrigan.
Exactly what this requires.
Yeah. You know, this is going to be an hard one, I think, because the Lexus have it on the straights, whereas the Merc also does. The only place the Mercs is going to really get in here is right on that apex of the corners, where he in the Merc should be able to hit it a bit better. You should be able to handle it that little bit better.
Jesse, what is that on the back of Les's car?
Well, I'm no snitch, and I do not offer up any comment or explanation. It is what it is. What I can confirm to you is that is the face of Les Stevenson looking back at you ominously as you try to overtake him. Now, this is way too close for comfort here. A bump draft indeed for Sandro Somos. I'm going to have to pay Sandro because that was way better camera work than I could have ever done. A little bit of closeness
that was
there.
Touch. I think that was a touch, Jesse.
I almost can guarantee that it was indeed, and it is. It's shown up on the incident tool, and that's going to create an opportunity for Olivier Curtin, who doesn't really care about this fight here, but very much like to get closer to the top 10. The top 10 of his own cars, that is. They are already, of course, around the top 10, but none of these positions, of course, as it's a pro on Silver Battle, matters to Curtin, but discretion being the better part of valor saves him there. Meanwhile, drag race down the front straight here.
I'd like to correct you there, Jesse Lee.
Go on.
It doesn't matter if they're silver or pro. It always matters. A place on track is a place on track. Oh, it is. And I know that from a pro's point of view. If a Silver gets in front of me, I'm just as feisty to get in front as what I would be if it were a pro. So, yeah, there's definitely no change there. I'd say, like, in most cases, especially so early on in the championship, it doesn't matter. It's pride at that point. You start thinking about it more when you get in the last few stages, and you think, right, what benefits me points wise? What do I really need to fight this guy? So at this point, I can see he's not bothered about that. He just wants to fight it. It's going to go through.
I thought it was the 111.
Is that the 11?
No, that was Scott Lawson.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, the 11.
Oh, sorry, I thought you said P11. Sorry.
No.
Yeah, that was the Lozon Motorsports number 11. I thought it may have been Kieran. I saw a couple of ones, one too many, as that was this car that went around. Let's see if we can catch the tail end of this and see what happened to Lozon. Nope, we can't, as it already had occurred. But no,
unfortunately.
Daly, that's an excellent perspective. I preach that myself, that racing driver, it doesn't matter what class you're in. You don't care about that. You don't notice that when you're in the car anyway.
No.
It's all about driving and out-maneuvering and out-racing your opponents. So as good as
it's there and then. It's there and then. It's always about there and then. When you're in the moment, it's definitely about there and then. Like I say, you come to the last few rounds, maybe the last round if anything, when you're actually thinking about the points, then you start taking into consideration whether it's worth fighting a person in front or not. But I'd say at an early stage like this, it's all on pride. I want to be the highest finisher, and that's that.
Pedro Simoes has taken P2 in the class, and I'm pretty sure we're going to show you how that occurred. Simoes down the inside of turn number 1. There's going to be a little bit of a hip check contact there. The outside is going to prevail nearly 3 wide with Kierton. Kierton didn't want to shove it down the inside, but Sandro able to outbrake around the outside of the turn 3, 4, 5 complex and take P2 in that class. It's a further 5 seconds up to Callum Kerrigan. Might even be closer to 6 seconds, you know. But that is a tall task in the final 26 minutes. Talking with driver, 2-time Night Owl champion, Jordan Daly as well. Daly, go back to your 2 Night Owl championships. Nobody had really done it like you. You come back to Night Owl and you take it serious enough to challenge for a championship. You come back in the very next season and win it again just to prove that it wasn't a fluke. Take us back to those couple of championships. Did you expect to be competing for the title both seasons? Did you expect to win both titles?
Honestly, Jesse, no, I didn't. I'd say halfway through the first season, I had an inkling, a bit of a feeling that it was kind of mine. Like, I didn't want to be big-headed on it or anything, and I never said out when we were having interviews or anything before that. It were one of those, because I didn't want to jinx it for myself. But that first season, I mean, you've seen it yourself. It was definitely a bit of I dominated. I chose the right car. I picked the right time to use it, and I knew what I was doing. I were in the right place on every track. Coming into the second season, yeah, I wanted it just as bad. But I'm telling you now, it were a lot harder of a fight. It were nothing like that. I must have just done something right that first season that I won it to completely remove myself from the field, if you will. But yeah, that second time round, Flamger of all people, he come back with a real fight. And he proves that in the champ afterwards when he won it. But yeah, the first one, like I say, halfway through, I kind of thought I had it. Do you know, it got to that point where I were definitely confident in myself. But the second one, I was wary all the way through. It was questionable, you know, because people had the pace, and I just had to be in the right place at the right time for it. And that's all I could have done with the second win. But yeah, I mean, you couldn't be any happier, you know. Like, I've been here for that many seasons that it were about time I won it. You know, that's what I felt with myself, and that's what I brought through to everybody watching.
It was an absolute, like, it was like a shot out of the dark for the first one, and if one wasn't good enough, you came back for the second season. The consistency was incredible. You were always at the right place at the right time, and it just seemed like even when there was a mild bit of drama in your campaign, even still, you had the ability to just go ahead and overcome it, get results when you needed it, and it somehow, in quick succession, 2 championships. One more ties you with 2 other drivers, of course, Savalainen and Conway. Do you have a third one in you?
I am going to try for it, yeah. I did give up earlier this season, as I've had a bit of issues with a bit of pain in my back and stuff, and that is my main priority. I want to get that sorted before I think about going serious back into racing and stuff. But yeah, with all intentions that I've got, I aim to come back and be at least equal with my teammate Harry Conway. So yeah, like it was a weird one for me, because I kept looking up to him, like, in a way, like, we've had good fights, me and Conway, but he's got 3 champs on me. And I don't want to beat it. I'll be happy equaling it, and even if I don't think I'll feel like I've been wrong done by, because the competition that's here now, and especially this season, like, there's some incredible drivers, and I won't put it past any of them to win it. But yeah, I would like to say that I'm going to at some point try and come back for a third. I will try and do it. I will try and at least equal my friend, teammate Harry Conway, if I can. Yeah, that's kind of an aim of it. Other than that, I'm not fussed. You know, it'll be what it'll be. I'll do my best every time I come here. You know I will, because you'll see me doing everything I can to be in that best position every time. But yeah, I would like to aim for a third, yeah.
One thing that doesn't really come to the forefront of the mind until you actually think about it, but the most dominant team throughout the history of Night Owl is the team that Conway and, of course, Daly drive for, and not just limited to them. Grim Lilith also drives for the team from time to time, of course. Let's see, are they driving for they are indeed.
They are.
So that's
we've got a few affiliates. Yeah, we do have team members who like to drive among other teams, which we have in affiliate with us. But as a whole, most of us, especially for Night Owl, we like to represent our Triple R brand, which is what we are. Now newly known as K-Tech and Oslo, but that is what we are. We've been here since day one, and we'll be here throughout. If I've got it to do with it, I'll make sure that I'm signed up for every season. We will be here throughout. We will show our face.
Grim has fought off the charge of Miguel Martins and Emiliano Gigi for Triple R. They still have the 5th place position all to themselves after going back and forth. Grim appears to have won the battle there. But yeah, Triple R, storied franchise and the winningest team in Night Owl history, and they've got maybe 6 or so, maybe more than that, championships all in total just in Night Owl. That doesn't include endurance trophies that they've won and other weekly series that they've done as well. So just they might be, Triple R might be the most prolific team full stop in RCI history.
I'm proud to be a part of that, though. That's what our team's about. We're here, we're representing. It's a good laugh for you, lads.
I've been having a little watch off pit lane just while you two have been having a little chin wag, and Romeo Fowler has parked his car. He's been parked there for a very long time now. We've had 2 cars come down pit lane. We have Brain Jones doing a 49.8 second pit stop. I'm guessing that is maybe fuel and tyres. I'm not too sure how long that would be. We also have Ramos in the 14 has done a 1 minute 09.7 pit stop. That is fuel and tyres.
I'm not sure why they've done that when I told them there was no pit requirements. So unless they've not really raced in ACC before, I've not understood that the tyres can go the full length of 60 minutes and a little bit longer. But I'll have to find out after the race. But that is all I have seen on pit lane. But a few battles going on. Warfox is trying to hold off Masatoshi Kaneko, but also trying to gain on Les Stevenson. Look at this three-way train down the back straight. Lexus got the legs, but the other two cars are in the tow. So Les is chewing along in that lovely train of his.
Well, there's been a theme in this Night Out season, and that theme has been Mike Jones versus Jordan Bubbins at different times in the series, and that tradition continues tonight. These two cars have had contact here. Let's see. This is not Jordan Bubbins. This is
okay.
That was Mike Jones, who I believe.
Oh my God.
I believe Bubbins was sitting stranded in the middle of the racetrack is what's going on there. And maybe this is the preamble and might tell more of the story. This also might explain why Roman Frawler is sitting in the pit lane. The Porsche is Bubbins and Frawler into the back of him there. And that is why Jordan Bubbins was sat sedentary in the middle of the track when Mike Jones arrived to the scene of the accident.
Yeah, I don't know if Bubbins just braked too early and Frawley just being a pro driver, it goes for the normal braking if you like. Obviously Bubbins probably still learning the track or not really used to that Porsche still, but yeah, just straight into the back of him, and yeah, that was all for Roman Frawley, unfortunately, because Frawley's been in Night Out for many seasons early on in when it first came out and in the early seasons, and took a break for a bit, like a lot of sim racers did who driven ACC for since it came out of beta and came as a full game, and some people just burn out on it and have come back. Here's Les Stevenson and Simos. Look at, oh my God, this is just pushing the Lexus along. I'm not sure why they're not trying to go for it. Are they gonna? No, they're not.
There's a little bit of bump drafting at 190 kph plus, and that can go very wrong in ACC. It hasn't tonight. We've seen it on a couple of occasions, and it's all sort of worked its way out. But I think what happens in those cases is the driver behind, as Fox nearly goes for a little wild ride right there, able to get it back in line, well held by Fox. I think what happens is the car behind has a run, could take it, but realizes it's not nearly enough to actually have an earnest attempt at overtaking, making the spot up. So instead, they just push the car in front. Could be a little bit of intimidation there. Could be, more than anything, just not wanting to waste the momentum, but also they don't want to be offline for the next corner. Gorf looking down to the inside, covered off by Les Stevenson. 15 minutes to play. The temperature at the track rising. It's just gone 8:15 a.m. in sim time here at Circuit Paul Ricard in France. 15 degrees C. The track temp, no real wind to speak of. No dramas in the skies as well. The drama today has all been on the racetrack, unfortunately, for some that have been involved. We've seen some really good racing. This one of those battles that has persisted for the majority of the race, and your guess is as good as mine, partner. Who may take this in the fight? It'll be whoever makes the last pass. I'm aware of that, but whom that might be is the big question mark.
Yeah, that's the thing. You got the Lexus who's good on the straights, got the power out of the corners, but then you got the Aston Martin of Gorfighters Jordan Bubbins getting out of the way, which is very nice of him indeed. But yeah, you got the Aston Martin that is good in the corners compared to the Lexus, so you just have to wait for either one of them to make a mistake. Les might get away or Fox might get through, but here's Martin's on Lilith. Martins does get through for 5th place, and behind is Emilio Gigi, just waiting there, just watching in the 333.
just seeing if one of these two cars will either take each other out or just be slow enough in the fight that they can just sort of sneak on through.
I want to be bold and say no, they're not. They've taken care of each other thus far. It's a good battle. Daly, you can speak to that. You've been in a good number of scraps in the past, and what's it like when you build up that rapport in a specific race with a driver where you realize, oh, they're not going to lean on me, they're not going to rub my fenders, if I get a run they're going to let me have it. That changes how you race them, right? You're a bit more liberal with your approach in that way. And how does that feel when you find that general respect and camaraderie in a race like this?
Yeah, you're definitely correct there. You do. It can be like that, and it can make it a lot easier. But at the same time, because it's like that, and you can be that close with someone, you also want to take it easier because you want to give them that respect as well. You don't want to obviously push it too hard yourself, and like, because they're giving you all that respect, you want to give them back, if you will, even though, yeah, you can push it a bit harder, you can do these things. So, yeah, it's one of them. You will, obviously, they're going to find the way past there. But yeah, it's a bit of a. You think about that. You do, especially the next time round and stuff. Whenever you see him again on site, you always think about stuff like that when you meet people there, and you can actually be in that position with them. You know, I appreciate stuff like that. I really do, and it makes my night in a race when I can be in a race that's like that. It really does. It emphasises the battle that you're having. It really kicks on everything, and it's so good to see. And I'm enjoying this right now from an outside perspective, because usually I'm deep in there right now. So just sat back here watching it all. It's a different experience for me, but I am really enjoying this. I'm loving it right now. Just to sit here and listen to you and watch all this fight unfold. I want to say so many things, but sometimes I don't know what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm so excited about it. It's going on. It's going off right now. We've got a fight here for P11. We've got 3 people so close to each other. I'm right in the thick of it with these lads right now. Yeah, I want it to happen. I want it all to happen. I want to see what's unfolding here. I don't know. I'm going to go back to being quiet for a few minutes because, yeah, no, it's I don't have words to put into it. It is from my perspective now, seeing it, it's a totally different way of seeing it all. It's so good, and I'm the one who's usually in the middle of all this. It's crazy, but yeah, no, it's much appreciated. It is very much appreciated when you've got drivers who are willing to be like that with you on track, and you figure each other's limits right there and then, and yeah, no, it's much appreciated.
Well, I gotta say, there's days where I'm glad that I'm up here in the booth, and I certainly was for lap 1. And beyond that, though, you get that itch as a driver. You want to be in the fight, but there's something to be said about watching drivers duke it out from an alternative.
I keep putting my foot down.
Yeah, because you just you're
sorry. I keep putting my foot down. I want to be in there. I'm in there. I'm feeling for Kaneko right now. I've got my foot down when he hasn't, and I'm going, come on, give it some, lads. You can do it. No, honestly, this is a spectacle. It's beautiful to watch. I'm enjoying it.
You lean into it, too. Oh, he's going to lean into it here. Masatoshi Kaneko got held up a little bit there by Fox, caught unawares by Les Stevenson. Of course, Masatoshi couldn't even see Les Stevenson's car there, was using the brake marker of Gore Fox, and luckily no drama had there. Fox again going to the extreme outside, not close enough to make a move into turn 1, as they all fanned out after that very close experience in Sector 3. Racing still going on all over the racetrack. Mike Redford and Kevin Boss going at it for 14th place. We touched on this earlier. Yes, these are 2 different classes, but as Daly alluded to earlier, and as Anybody that's ever been in the situation can tell you we're late in the race here and early in the season. You're still going for it. You're going for positions. It's down to bragging rights right now. What class you're in, despite there not being points on offer, none of that matters right now.
Well, that's correct. That.
Well, 8 minutes and 35 seconds of the race left to go, and it's 16-16 track and ambient, so it's only gone up a little bit. 2 degrees from the start on ambient and the track.
Yes, on that Nissan. Look at it go.
A little bit of a touch there.
Look at it go. Oh, that was so close.
Got to remember though, Redford does have damage. You can see there, he got into a big tussle in T1, lap 1, I think later on as well. So I don't think Kevin's got too much damage. I think he's just got a few scrapes. Redford's just trying to get on the inside. Kevin's on the outside, trying to get his nose in with the Ferrari and doesn't quite get it. Kevin's got the grip on the outside in the GTR. And it,
the send! The send!
That's huge. And I don't think Kevin's saying nice things in that. Yeah, well, there you go, flashing all the lights. He's not happy about that one, Jesse. It's crazy. Lexus and GTR with this, as we say, Kunos bop, the normal bop, is actually really good. Oh, there goes Kevin.
Here we go.
Oh, he's not going to get the exit though.
No, he's got the pace on the straight.
Oh, contact again!
Bumping.
More contact!
Again.
Hip check after hip check! A third, a fourth time! Nearly in an accident down the pit straight! The lights flashing on the Ferrari! The rage very clear behind the driver's visor, and that's not what you want to see. A couple of hard-done moves, and all of a sudden, a bit of fury erupts right there out of both of the drivers. Nearly a huge accident on the pit straight, somehow kept in check, but perhaps only just.
I think they were both hitting each other there. Obviously, the initial one, and they're just both pushing each other. I think Kevin's saying, "Give me room, stop coming over when we're too wide," and the ref was probably saying the same thing. But yeah, both tussling. Not seen that before, and I'm surprised none of them went round. I suppose Kevin didn't go into the wall on the left there, but as well. Brad Joe's coming down pit lane for a drive-through for track limits. Unfortunately, that's twice he's been down. One for a pit stop by the looks of it on the time, and one for a penalty. So he's going to go further back. As Ashley Bibby, I think, goes past. He sure does. The 421 does come out pit lane now with the 69. Nice. Is in T1 turning into T2.
It's like I said earlier, gentlemen. Sorry.
That's fine.
It's like I said earlier, it doesn't matter what class you're in at the minute. We ain't being so low in the stage. They just want to fight. They're just here for a fight, especially between Redford and Boss. Just like I was saying, it's exactly what we've seen.
Well,
sure is.
Don't want this to get lost in the sauce as there's so much great racing. Sandro Somos picked the pocket of Callum Kerrigan and now has a decent-sized lead. Now, I imagine something happened to Callum out there on the track. It was a 6-second gap last I saw, but rather besides, Sandro Somos has had the comeback drive of a lifetime tonight. Keep in mind, this car was outside the top 10 at the end of lap number 1. They qualified on pole, and it has been a recovery drive of a lifetime, and they've completed it here, getting by Kerrigan. No contact with the 280 of Kerrigan, so unknown exactly what happened to that Lexus, but it has all come back around for the Carbonator Racing 86 Mercedes.
Yeah, and that Mercedes didn't have any contact into T1 when all that carnage happened. They stopped and waited and got through when it was clear, so that's why they went backwards, but that's why they've got back up again. They've had no damage. They've still got the car how they set it up from qualifying and from the grid. So they're doing really, really well. I think if I know Kerrigan, he's probably got bottled under pressure at some point around the track and just lost the Lexus. It's not the easiest car to lose. It's as long as you have a let's say go setup maybe, you will keep it on the track. But
I'll vouch for that.
Very unfortunate. Yeah, Daly uses them all the time. That's why he wins the races. And saying about Go Setups. Go Setups, they provide expertly made ACC setups for all skill levels, built up by some of the fastest professional esports drivers and sim engineers. They have setups for wet weather, they have safe, and they have esports setups. And you don't have to just buy them separately. You can buy them in bundles for Lexus or Aston Martin, or even that Ferrari in the rear view mirror of Fox. You can buy them as bundles for all the tracks for that one car, or you can buy them in a subscription. You can get, I think it is it 30 a month daily you get to do?
Yes, it is. It's 30 a month you get, which I think is really reasonable. Like, you probably won't use all 30. Yeah, no, it's an excellent deal for what it is, and the setups really do work. As I say, I can vouch for it. I don't know if you've watched before. I'll put it on Paul, I'll win the race, and that's thanks to Go Setups. They do help a lot. Yeah.
Well, there you go, GT3, GT4, and I think GT2s are coming out or are out as well. So they're always updating them. They update them for the LFM BOP as well. See that their tracks change week by week, I believe. So you know, head over. It is in the description below. Go Setups. They are some quick setups these days. But there's Les Stevenson overtaking. Is that Mike Jones? Just so low down. Yeah, 114. Can't miss those blue wheels. A McLaren. Will they let Fox go through? They need to. They're blue flagged and quite far behind. They need to let through the next car as well, just to make it even and just be a nice driver. And they do so indeed. So it is still a fight for, that's that, 11th place. So
yeah, Mike Jones doing the sensible thing there. An old teammate of mine, Mike Jones. Very good lad, sensible driver when he can be. He's doing his pace, he's just let him by. He's thought he's not worth being in the way of these. There's a big group in front of him. You're better off staying out of the way at that point.
A couple of corrections from the chat. PT is telling us that I've been calling it carburetor or carbonate, something like that, all night long. It's not. It's carburate or carburate. I don't know how or why I've been getting that wrong, but cheers on the correction. Seb Brunier says Simoes is proof that T1 doesn't determine the race. Keep it cool, keep the foot down. It can come to you. Mike Redford continuing to commiserate his race, and Azure Goat seconding the Go Setups. Of course, Azure, a accredited driver in their own right as well. A many times winner and champion, I do believe, as well, using...
Definitely. Beat me in GT4s now and again.
There you go. You know who we haven't seen tonight at all? This man, Ash Bibby. You know why we haven't seen the number 69 R Ferrari?
Nice.
Because they haven't been involved in a single sausage tonight. They've been on their own, running their own race, and that's pretty much the story for Ash Bibby tonight. This is the kind of night yeah, it's the kind of night where you learn a lot, don't you? When you're not involved in accidents, where you're not having to scramble, you just run the race, you get a full race in under your own steam, your own power, no outside forces involved. You learn a lot.
Oh, definitely.
These are the nights that you wish for. And yeah, you could say, well, he's not racing anybody. That's kind of the point. If you've made
it doesn't matter.
Exactly. If you've made it to this point, you're not racing anybody.
Yeah.
That means you've probably done your job well. Of course, inside the top 20 as well.
Most definitely, Jet Li. And as a friend of Bibby's, I actually spoke to him earlier on in the week about this race, and he come in not too confident. Bibby is quite new to what we do here. But I mean, in these past 2 seasons, he's progressed so much. But yeah, he weren't coming in too confident. Me and him ran around the track a few times during the week, and by the end of the week, he was like, do you know what? Doesn't matter. We'll do what we can. And look at him now. He's halfway up his field, and I'm well impressed. I'm chuffed as a friend of Bibby's. I'm well chuffed, because earlier this week, you know, he had no confidence in it, and Yeah, it's lovely. It's really good to see him where he is there. Like, it's same with any of my friends who I race with. Same with you, Ted. You know, like whenever we're racing together or racing with each other at any point, you know, if I see I'm always happy to see you know, it's really good, especially when I don't like to big myself. I've been an input in what he's done. I like to help him, and I do. I will always give my 10p into what he's doing just to help him on. But yeah, I love it to see my friends doing well. It's good. Good on him. Good on him.
Race coming to a close for the leaders. Julian Vanbrugh converts the pole position into a win. It was hardly academic as Raphael Huell has the quickest lap and kept him honest all day, and a humongous amount of respect from us here in the booth to the top 3 cars, all of which holding serve and not making any mistake. The Alpha SimSport car, Curse of Timothy Flamger, in 3rd as well. Everybody coming to the line, but the big story today is Sandro Somoza for Carburate Racing, the 86, the Portuguese driver, gets it done here today. He goes from the front to the back to the front again and wins it here at Paul Ricard.
Sure does. Callum Kerrigan takes 2nd place. 10 seconds flat behind Simoes. That's I've never seen that before, but very well done in the Lexus. 280 Lexus.
Fox wins the race for 3rd.
Oh, there's Stevenson.
Oh, after the line. This is all post-race. Now, the problem with that is if that was anything, I think that's intimidation tactics right there from Kevin Boss. I saw this on the Discovery Channel once, is what's going on here. Something very similar to this as they continue to go back and forth. We'll give you the reverse angle here. That's Gore Fox and Kevin Boss nose to nose. What I was going to say was, if that was post-race aggression, now that's outlined in the new rule book. You can't have that. Now, that may have just been congratulations or commiserations gone wrong, but nevertheless, we'll let the stewards deal with that as we show you the results pending post-race penalties, of course. Vanbrugh, Huell, and Flamger, your podium in the pro class tonight. Somoza has the ultimate job to do to go from the back to the front, and they do that and win the race tonight. Kerrigan and Fox, your top 3 podium finishers in the silver class. Fox was able to get around Les Stevenson in the closing laps, brought Masatoshi with them. Of course, the results, of course, now scrolling on your screen.
Yeah, don't forget Les Stevenson and Kevin Boss, the Lexus and GTR still did very well, despite having, you know, a few taps, few incidents and stuff like that. But they did very well indeed. But yeah, very well done to the top 3 in both classes, and very unfortunate from the guys at the bottom. Only 3 people didn't finish the race today. Obviously, we saw Lewis Selch get taken out earlier on by, I think it was Brent Jones. Matthew Malcolm had a few problems, and Roman Frala had that incident with Jordan Bubbins and came into the pit lane a bit too fast and without pit limiter on, so very unfortunate indeed. But there's always next round, and going to be very interesting in the next round, which will be at Indianapolis, Jesse. We haven't been there for a while, especially in Night Owl. It's going to be a different setting compared to this race. A bit oval, bit of your territory.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's a week that I don't have to travel across the Atlantic. I'll take it. And, of course, that track, a very difficult one. It doesn't look it. It looks rather benign, but in practice, the Indy Road Course is a quite formidable racetrack indeed. We can't wait to get there, and who knows, maybe there would be some sort of weather going on. Ted Edwards, you are the lead pony on this stagecoach robbery, which means you get to handle the post-race interviews as we put a bookend on round 3 of Night Out Season 17.
Yeah, well, here's Julian Vanbrugh. Hello, sir. Very well done on the win today. How was it out there on track?
Hello. Yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty intense. Just a mental battle to not make a mistake in that first half, really. With Hill just sat 3 turns behind me. But then luckily was able to pull a second gap, and then once I'd done that and broken the slipstream, was able to slowly pull away.
Yeah, how was it out there? Obviously, you led the whole race, but Huell did drop off eventually. He got the fastest lap of the race, but how was that McLaren? Is it still probably one of the best cars to take in a championship, just overall?
Probably. It's the car I've driven the most. That's why I picked it. It's definitely very strong around Paul Ricard with the medium high speed corners. Definitely suit it. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty good in the straight line as well. That's what kept me alive. The Mercedes just couldn't quite get enough of a run down that straight, and then wasn't ever able to get alongside me. So that worked out quite well.
Well, you are. At the minute you are 7th in the standings. Obviously, after today it's going to change. You got 4th in the first round and 5th in Donington Park. So this is definitely a big step up for you, joining up with probably Flamger and Huell at the top there. Obviously, Lewis Zelch, I think he's signed out of the championship after today's race. So that's one person out of it. Obviously, John Daly missed out of 2 rounds, so going to drop down a little bit. So who are you worried about fighting? Obviously, Flamger is in the McLaren as well, and Huell and Daly are both in the Mercedes. So which one of those are you worried about that's going to take some points away from you winning this championship?
Well, I'd probably say based off history, Flamger, because he's the reigning champion from last year. But Huell's definitely shown some very strong pace the last 2 races, especially. So he's definitely a concern. Well, I think Daly's missed 2 races, so I don't know if he's still in it really, unfortunately. But I guess it's between us 3 now. Yeah, so the best man wins really.
Well, how are you feeling going into Indianapolis? Obviously, you don't know what I'm going to give you yet. The next practice ever hasn't gone up, and you won't know the pit requirements until the race the day next week ends. So, how are you feeling? Is it a track you like, or is it one that you are not too fond of?
To be honest, never driven it on this
Ooh.
game. Probably, well, I'd say I've probably done about 10 laps on it. So I've never done a race around there. So I've got to do a bit of work to learn it properly. It's not really a track that I like. So I've got my work cut out, that's for sure.
I feel you on that one. It's not a track I like either, but it's nice to watch people race. I'm not too much of a fan, but it is a technical track. Obviously, you got the straights and the banking to deal with, but I hope you well on that. And Jessica, do you have any questions for Julian Vanbrugh?
Well, I just got to ask, Joel, first of all, congratulations on another brilliant win here, but I just got to ask, on top of everything, you didn't really have too big of a gap to play with. You had to be pretty much perfect all night long, and you were. What's it like being under pressure like that for an entire hour, knowing that one slip-up, one tiny mistake, not even an accident, would have changed the course, or could have potentially changed the course of the race?
Yeah, big pressure for sure. On high fuel, my car was super sketchy through the high speed rights after the main straight, after long back straight. Super sketchy. So I was just praying not to make a mistake through there for the first half, and then once the fuel burned off, the car became more and more stable, so I could push it a bit more. But like I said, it was the straight line speed on the McLaren saved me today. Even when he was about 3 tenths behind me going onto the straight, he wouldn't be able to catch me by the end. So definitely that saved me.
And finally, of course, anybody you want to say hey to, shout out maybe the team, perhaps?
Yeah, I mean, I'd just say commiserations to Lewis Zelch. In practice, we basically had the same pace. He qualified 5th, and he got taken out at the start. So he could definitely been up with us. So unlucky to win, really.
Thank you very much. Back to you, Ted Edwards.
Thank you very much, Julian, and I hope to see you next weekend. Well, that was round 3 of now, but we do have some more championships still going on. We've got Monday, TCX and GT4 Multiclass is on Mondays, and the next round is at Imola. We're just on Red Bull Ring. It was pretty fun me sitting in. I was actually racing that one, sitting in the Camaro Screamy Boy.
Yeah, you sure were, buddy. I was in the steward's box for that one, and can I just say, it was a chaotic but fun round number 1. And if you aren't involved already, mid-season signups for all of our championships are allowed. Don't worry about it if you missed round 1. That doesn't matter, drop rounds being what they are. Come on and join us. It was an absolute screamer at Red Bull Ring.
Sure was. We got that on Mondays. On Wednesdays, we've got midweek Masters Season 2. Is a team champ, 2 drivers for 18 minutes. We've only got 3 signups so far, so come and sign up and join us. First round is at Spa. No pre-queue. Don't forget, there's no pre-queue for our weekly champ. So you just sign up in any car you want. Get yourself a buddy and just come and drive. And then on Thursdays we have iRacing IMSA Season 1. Last race is at Sebring. If you want to get some practice in for that 12-hour, that Sebring that's coming up for the iRacing official, come and join us. We just did today the Sebring 2 hour 40. We had a good turnout for that. So come and get some more practice in. Come and try out the new weather they've got. It is difficult, but it's actually fun. Get some practice in ready for the 12-hour. And on Fridays, starting next week on the 16th, we've got KTM Masters GT2 and GT4 KTMs. We've got a few signups for that. And we need some more though, because it's going to be different. We're starting at Brands Hatch, a very nice small technical track. And yeah, that's going to be an interesting one. I'm in that one as well. I'm going to go GT4. So come and join me. Come and watch me. Probably spin it into a wall.
Don't make me give you a penalty. Just drive. Ted, I'm going to need you to drive like I'm going to need you to drive pristine, if you don't mind. Don't make me be that guy.
I'll try for you, Jesse. I'll give it my hardest. But we also have World Tour 2024. It's just around the corner. That starts next Saturday with the Nürburgring 4-hour. That's just before night owl. There's 2 streams in one day, so come and join us. Pre-queue is for that. You've got to do 10 valid laps in one stint, and that's round Barcelona. Get yourself a few buddies. You don't have to have too many. Me and Tom Bryant are doing the first round together. We're going to take the Lexus. That's why I've been talking about the Lexus so much in night owl, because it's a different beast. It's a bit of a meme. It's been a meme for a while, and it seems like it's pretty good. We've got a load of teams signed up for that, so come and join us. Keep your pre-queue done, and come and join us. Just World Tour. It's World Tour. Everyone loves a bit of endurance racing here at RCI, but yeah, you can find all that at racerci.com. We've got the rules. We've got the livery rules as well. Come and make your own custom liveries and show them off on the streams. We always like to see them every week. And we also have a Discord as well for all the information in there as well. But we have a few more partners to reel off. AK Esports, we wouldn't be able to do any of these racings without them. You wouldn't see this racing here. You'd be doing something else on a Saturday night and the weekdays. But yeah, very very thankful to have them on our side. Digitalmotorsport.com have all your top brands and your one-stop shop for everything sim racing, your sim wheels to sim rigs to even just the direct drive bases, beginner to expert. They got everything you need, and they have your build a rig little mini game, if you like, I like to call it. You can see what it looks like before you actually buy it and put it all together in your own room. And Fanatec as well, don't forget about them. I've got Fanatec pedals, and they are built to last. They are really nice and comfy on the feet. I don't even wear any shoes. I just wear my socks, and yeah, it's just so comfy. But you can find all of them out in the description below. But yeah, sum the race up, Jesse, for tonight, would you?
Yeah, of course. Paul Ricard is always going to be a racetrack where qualifying and the racing comes at you fast and close. Tonight, absolutely no different. A messy start gave way to some brilliant, respectful driving by a lot of the competitors. Fights inside the top 10 abound everywhere, and inevitably a couple of very deserving winners here today. I don't think it's a stretch to say a comeback drive of the century, perhaps, and a driver who just refused to make a mistake are your winners, Vanbrugh, and of course your silver winner just getting it done and making it, I mean, made it look easy, despite the fact that we all know that these kind of races aren't. Sandro Simoes getting it done in silver the hard way. Just brilliant racing. Once again, I always say that Circuit Paul Ricard does not disappoint in the racing department. Again tonight, another 5-star performance.
Sure was. Well, I think that is all from us tonight here at RCI. We've done 2 streams today. Jesse Lee is a little bit tired, so I'm going to let him get off a little bit earlier. But yeah, don't forget our weekday champs, racerci.com. Check it all out. All the information is there, and if you need any help, go to our Discord, and there'll be someone there to help you, and even the drivers may help you as well. They're very nice people that we have in our community, and I couldn't ask for more. And gotta say thank you to you at home. We do enjoy talking to you in the chats, and enjoy you watching what we give you here tonight. But until next week, my name has been Ted Edwards, he has been Jesse Lee, and we will see you next time.